everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Grab a seat, pull it up, lay down in bed, stand up on the train ride, on the plane ride, on your car ride, audio only, wherever you are watching this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, for stopping on in here on the channel. I appreciate you, especially as we embark on this particular video, on this particular reaction. We're going to listen to Be-Bop Deluxe. We've heard of them. We're going to do a full album listen here today of their album Futurama. This is their second studio album, which was released in 1975. Of course, we have listened to Be-Bop Deluxe before, Sunburst Finish, and a lot of you had recommended and suggested that I listen to this album. So that is exactly what we're going to do today. Some of you, because there's an overwhelming amount, some of you that had recommended this album, let me pull up your names here, as many as I can. Let's see, I have you here. I have Greg All, I have Keith Jones, I have BTJ, I have James Warner, I have Keith Jones again, I got Mark Ferret, I got GF Steven, I see you as well. I see, let me see, Sky Saw, I see Mr. Andre Coelho, and the list just like, boom, just goes on from there. It's just a huge list of people that have recommended this album, so I appreciate you guys with the suggestion. Greg, I see you there as well. These suggestions go back, like, I'm looking at 2 years now. I'm going back, like, far. So thank you guys so much for the recommendations, for suggesting this to me. And I hope that you're ready to dive on in and to listen to the album with me. Before we go ahead and move on, a couple things as I have your attention. With any of these full album listens, it more than likely is going to be edited here on YouTube. You can watch the full reaction with all the music intact on Patreon. It's free. You don't have to sign up. Just go click it. It's right there for you. Once again, thank you guys so much for the suggestion. Like I said, relax. We're going to take some time here. We're going to enjoy this. We're going to just kind of flow with it. And I would like to take this opportunity while I have your attention. Actually, I forgot to mention it, but you know, if you do want to sign up on Patreon, you can for as little as $2 a month. If you want to, you don't have to, but obviously it helps me in what I do and I can do more music. Duh. While I have your attention, I want to take this opportunity to suggest you guys and recommend a band to you guys, as well as you always give me recommendations, and I would like to give this to you guys. So I came across this band. Their name is Simple Minded Symphony, okay? I'm going to link a specific music video down below, and I want you guys to take a listen to this. Even like right now, stop this video, go take a listen to them. I'm going to send you a link to their song Feather. Listen, I'm not going to tell you what kind of music they make or anything like that. Just go there, listen to it. It's only a 5-minute track. You're going to like it, right? Tell me that watching the music video does not make you smile. Tell me the music video does not make you smile. And from what I see of them, they are from Seattle. So I specifically chose this shirt for Simple Minded Symphony. Please go check them out. I'll put a link to their video down below, and I'll also link their Bandcamp as well for you, because I would really like you to check them out. I think you'll like them. And if you do go and check them out, comment and you know, support them as well. Let them know where you came from. Anyways, let's go ahead now. Indulge. I didn't know what else to say. I was trying to think of a synonym. Indulge, travel down the river that is Futurama. Let's go ahead. Okay, some of you know what I meant. Let's go ahead and start off with the first track here, which is Stage Whispers. We'll probably stop each track as we go on, but for now, let's just take the journey and enjoy it. Sit back, relax. Let's dive on in, guys. Right up there. Jeez, Bill. This guitar does not lie. That's a nasty riff. Oh. Oh, yeah, a little drum solo. What the? Oh man, well that certainly sets a tone. That certainly sets a tone. Oh, jeez. You know, this wasn't us being gently pushed off of the shore into the ocean of this album. This was us tossing. This was you tossing your child into the water and saying, "You got floaties on. You'll figure it out." Okay. Stage whispers, not a whisper to be heard here, just a yell from all of the instruments. Everyone starts off on fire. Of course, Bill, his guitar playing, you would expect to be otherworldly, and it is here, from almost like, I would say, proggy, glam rocky kind of like guitar riffs, moving from that distinct tone and then putting a lot of sauce in there. Just the amount of distinct tones and voices he gets out of his guitar in this one track, which is just an energetic, fiery little blip, right? He's putting so much in there. So much. And then I love those little spaces, those pauses that are very pronounced in the music, which allows someone, whether it's Bill, Simon, hold on, let me pull up the list. I'm forgetting who else is there. Charlie on the bass. One of them, he gives space, and the band gives space for someone to fill in. And I love that. Oh, we have some nice drum fills. Of course, solid bass. And of course, those guitar riffs that you would hear. Then we get a we get a drum solo / long fill. You could argue either or. It goes on a little bit, which is used really nicely as a transition into the following part. Ooh, which is just this really nice kind of, to me, like a little proggy breakdown, especially between Simon and Charlie. Ooh, that was good. That was such a great opening track. I love that. The lyrics here: "While I'm waiting in the wings with all the strings and things that help me to make music, just another curtain call before I fall into your arms again, my beauty. This guitar does not lie. The great deception is not my achievement." I love that line. You know, Shakira said her hips don't lie. Nelson's saying his guitar doesn't lie either. "The spotlight falls upon the fool who sings of love, then acts so cool, and then calmly smiles. I play the clown, the hero torn between the darkness and the dawn's deceiving light." So I think what he's kind of getting at is that no matter, this is just what I'm seeing, I really could be completely wrong, whatever he feels or someone feels in front of people or not in front of people, in private or in public, no matter what, the artistry, the creativity, and in this case the music that flows from his guitar specifically does not lie. That is where the emotion truly shows. That is where his inner self truly shows. Not for private or even public eye. "Well, I found another stage, another page to turn, a harsher pain to answer to, but I'm giving all my feelings to the things that I believe in. That's all I can do." So he's putting all of himself into the music. So the name of the track, Stage Whispers, makes me think of, like, you know, while he's on stage, while the band is performing, these whispers are parts of himself, the like the subconscious coming through in his music, and that is his true self, no matter what. "Well, I'm waiting on the wings, blah, blah, blah." We read that line, so it just reads from there. At the end, "Where is the one who knows the shape of things to come? The thrills that I have won, the kiss that time's begun for me." I don't know, the band's putting it down. I'll tell you that much. No matter what. I don't know exactly what he's saying, but he's putting it down. That's what I can tell you. Let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Love with the Madman. Let's go. Oh! The piano. Oh, I love the sound of this one. That guitar's singing. Love with the Madman perfectly contrasts the previous track, which the previous one was just so dynamic, fast-paced, it's just turbulence the whole way through. This one's a little bit of smoother skies, especially with the piano, also played by Bill Nelson here. I really love the intro with the piano and the way that it's used throughout. You hear what I would think is a little bit of synth back there. I can't say for sure, but it sounds like there's a little bit of synth at some points during the verse. But this one's a little bit more like dramatic in some ways, but definitely softer, more middling paced as well. And the way that Bill sings here, I really enjoy, especially that one note in there when he kind of cries out, his guitar rings out with him, and the band enters in from there. That was really nice. Some good production tricks in there as well. There's a moment where there's some echo on his voice, or reverb maybe, and it's allowed to kind of ring out before beginning the next part. Of course, like the drumming and the bass that come in with him, like it all just coincides in this nice, big, forceful push, you know? That's what I like about this one. Like it has its moment of space, but at the end of the day, everything is still rhythmically pushed very nicely. This could possibly be one of those albums, huh? because I'm having a really good time here. Lyrics on this one: piano keys don't please me, they're so dark. And ironically, he's playing piano. It's so easy to forgive them. And violins still scream from every room you've ever passed your presence through. But is you hang around here much longer? I think some of the lyrics might be mistyped, maybe. You'll go crazy with the wonder of it all. For love with the madman is a sad affair, a long, long way to fall. So perhaps he's saying, like, you know, if you're going to be in love with an artist, a musician, if you're gonna like be a partner, and if your partner is a musician of some sort, maybe he's saying, like, you know, be prepared. I maybe I'm wrong on this. He's describing himself, I think, as the madman, and saying, like, if you're in love with me, I'm a self-declared madman when it comes to, like, I guess his art and everything. Just be ready, because just be ready. My orchestras have waited, they've been baited by the baton you conducted. Ooh, that's really nice. All right, so maybe I'm wrong. Most of the time I am. It's a first listen. I don't know what I'm reading, right? But I really like that line. My orchestras have waited. They're being baited by the baton you conducted. So his partner, whoever his lover is, has the power to conduct the orchestra of his soul. Okay, so maybe this is more of a love song rather than what I was saying before. Yeah, that's really nice. Or maybe he feels manipulated. Mm-hmm. And every beat's a heartbeat. In this symphony of trouble and confusion. Oh, but is you hang around here much longer, you'll go crazy with the wonder of it all. For love with the madman is a sad affair. You know what? Honestly, I'm going half backsies. I think it's a little bit of A and a little bit of B. I think I'm half right and half wrong. So at the end of the day, I'm nothing at all. Let's move on to the next track here, which is going to be Made in Heaven, which is not spelled D-E, but I-D. Let's see where it goes from here.
He's a knight on the tiles of bats out of hell. Well, if this way, just an hour and a fleeting kiss to the wall. Hold me now.
All right, listen up. Listen up. Oh, whoa, not yet. No. Let me back that up for a second. Get back to Made in Heaven. I'm not a guitarist. I can't speak from any sort of experience. But is Bill Nelson not like an incredibly talented guitarist? Like, it sounds like he can play anything. I've listened to on this channel a lot of Bill Nelson. Like, we've explored some Be-Bop Deluxe, some solo work, some of Red Noise. Like, we've hit a nice amount of different facets from him. It just seems like he can play anything. Obviously, I've heard him with David Sylvian in their collaborations and stuff, and like he just has such an element of, to me, surprise. Obviously, first listen reaction, everything's a surprise right now. But it's like he comes up with so many different tricks, from the moment, once again, where he stops the music briefly and he's like chicka chicka chicka. When he does that riff in there, you're like, what? I'm just moving the thing a little bit. I think the wind is blowing the microphone. But it's just always so surprising. It's like you never know what's around the corner when it comes to Bill Nelson, especially his guitar playing here. The song also, like, I don't think it has a chorus really. If it does, no, it just looks like it's just like stanza. But even so, it's still very catchy. It's a quick track coming in at 2 minutes and 25 seconds, but it has a little bit of a catchiness to it. It has a little bit of a, like, you could hear this on the radio. And this is what I feel about this track. Not only could you hear this on the radio, driving down the highway, but if this was to come on and it's your first time hearing it, I feel like you would be like, oh, what track is this, right? Because it catches your attention, it gets you in. But then there's those little nuances that you hear, like I said, especially from Nelson. You hear that guitar and you're like, who are these guys? I feel like that would be the reaction if you heard this on the radio for the first time and you weren't familiar with the band. You'd be like, okay, it's a good track, but then you hear those little things and you're like, oh, this is a really good track, you know? Sometimes, think back to like your first reaction when you hear, like, I don't know, some song or whatever that became your favorite. The first time you heard it, there was something in there that caught your attention, but then there's those little hooks throughout the music, and you're like, it really got your attention, and it really becomes something that you're interested in, you know? And yeah, his playing in here was just phenomenal. Made in Heaven. She's a maid in heaven, he's a knight on the tiles. A bat out of hell, oh well, it's just a question of style. It's a time for giving in the 2-star hotel where breakfast in bed per head is just the price of a smile. Okay. I know it's not easy to live this way, just an hour and a fleeting kiss till the morning. Silent night of wonders. Day breaks through the door, so broken and torn, reborn, 2 shadows thrown on the floor. Hold me now, go lightly, take the rough with the smooth, a token of love, my love was made in heaven for you. I think it's just about a little romantic liaison at night in a 2-star hotel. I don't think it's honestly about much more than that. I think he, or we could be playing off of the whole Made in Heaven, of course, with the MAID, and he does mention a hotel, but he says she's a maid in heaven. He's a knight of the tiles, so like she's so above him, and something like that. I don't know. Like she's an angel in her own right. I don't know. But I do like all the little hotel references that he makes throughout this track. And also looking at this one, it does seem that this one, I think, charted as well. It says in October 1976, this track reached number 36. Only 36? In the UK singles charts as the lead track off the Hot Valves EP. Okay. The American market was harder to break for British acts during the 70s due to the hangover from the 60s and problems with availability of records, blah, 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 blah. So I'm surprised it only reached number 36. What were the other 35 tracks that charted higher than this one? Because I think that this was fantastic. 1976, October. Let's do an experiment. Let's see if we can actually find this really quick. October 1796. 1976 UK singles charts. Maybe we can find that. I'm just curious, like what was ahead of this particular track, because I thought that was fantastic. Let's see if I can find that. 1976. No, I don't want to see. That's not what I'm looking for. This might be it. All right, so I'll know if this is official if I go to 36 and I see Made in Heaven. No, this is not right because it's showing me Jaws, Lalo Schifrin. Is that just the theme track from from Jaws? I want to see the UK singles chart. Where is it? Man, I don't want to waste time here, but I'm super curious. Best singles, British music, 30. Dorothy Moore, Misty Blue. That's not what I'm looking for. Maybe I can just type in Made. Nothing comes up. I'm in the wrong article then. I'm not going to find it. And like I said, I don't want to waste time here on the channel, but I thought I could find it. Maybe this will be it. Hold on. Give me one more chance. Give me one more. And then I'll move on. This ain't it either. All right. Well, I tried. I'm sorry. I wanted to see if I could find that, but that is not happening here. So let's move on into the next track here. And that is going to be, hold on, I got to get back to my other page. That's going to be Sister Seagull. Let's go. Ooh, listen to how the bass fills in on the riff. Oh, dude, I love the heaviness of that riff. This is good.
Vanished with a bird who flies so free.
Listen to Fox. I'm listening to the solo, but Fox,
Though in the end there will be nothing.
dude, okay. First of all, that's my favorite track on the album so far. Second of all, was he replicating seagulls there at the end? It sounded like a flock of seagulls. And I ran. No, but that was so cool. Why is this my favorite track? Couple of reasons. Once again, Bill's singing I think is really great in here. His guitar playing, I already mentioned it already, so I'm not going to spend time on it, but the contrast in his guitar playing. In this track alone, you have that heavy riff which comes in at just the right time. Da-da-da-da-dum, bum, bum. And then in between those valleys, you have the light sprinklings of guitar. So this track is going between these heavy cliffs that we jump off of, and then we dive into this serene little river, float a little bit, and then there's a waterfall when that riff comes back in. That is absolutely fantastic. The way that Charlie accompanies that with the bass and kind of spins off in some ways and does his own thing as well is also fantastic. But I want to mention Simon Fox on the drums. His drumming here is so key in the style of Be-Bop Deluxe here specifically because Yeah, he's doing the drummer job of keeping a rhythm and making interesting grooves, but he's not just playing in pocket. I would say he's not playing in pocket. I mean, obviously in a certain way he is, but like he's not just putting down a beat and leaving the rest of the band. He's putting down the beat, but he's going off the street and doing his own thing. He constantly is building his drums. He's progressing the rhythm. For example, it's a small thing, but the way he adds in the hi-hat on the second verse, or the way that he's done actually on one of the previous songs with the ride, just adding the sprinklings on the ride, and not just the ride in like one isometric fashion, which is just 1 1 1 1 1. He's like 1 1 da da 1 da da. Like he adds sprinklings of it, and I think the way he does that in this track and previous tracks is really interesting to listen to, and it really adds a fun atmosphere into the whole nature of this track and previous ones we've listened to. This is my favorite track so far, though. Lyrics on here. I guess I wasn't even following the lyrics because I don't have it pulled up. You're paying attention. Okay. Sister Seagull, oh, you're flying me too high. Feel so dizzy underneath your open skies, and it's strange the games we play to hide the crime. Sister Seagull, you're the reason I survive. I am a prisoner who has thrown away the key. My soul has vanished with a bird who flies so free. And wings of change have strapped themselves so near me. Sister Seagull, you're the reason I survive. So, I feel like he's just talking about a person and saying that like he's in love, or at least infatuated with this person. And that, like a seagull, they have taken his key, he says, but in my mind, I'm thinking taking his french fry and flown away. They've taken his heart and flown away. And he likes that, they've taken his heart, but at the same time, he's like, kind of need that to get into my house. I'm waiting here for the tide to turn and the byways of the air to open. Will you lead me there by the broken stairway to the clouds, to the clouds? So just like a sailor might look to an albatross to find land or things of that sort, he's looking to this person for guidance and, in a way, for shelter. I am a changeling like the wind across the waves. That makes me think of the Doors. Though in the end, there will be nothing left to save. I will return one day with all the time you gave. Sister Seagull, you're the reason I survive. I survive. So he feels lost at sea. He feels in the midst of the storm, and he needs that guidance. And like I said, this particular person that he's attributing this Sister Seagull name to is that form of guidance. And where are they taking him? To the place that he wants to be, to Safe Harbor. Let's move on to the next track. Hold on. I'm going to take a drink of water. Hold on. Now let's move on to the next track. Ooh, my voice came back refreshed. Let's go. Soundtrack. Let's go. Look at this. I love the sequence. Oh!
I can see them, lovers.
He's blazing a trail right now. He put some of that wah-wah in there at the very end. Okay, soundtrack may be my favorite track on the album this far. I gotta be honest. I think that Bill should offer his guitar a cigarette after what he did to it at the end there. I'm just saying, like, ooh, throughout this track we had, what, 4 solos? 4 guitar solos, I want to say. I was trying to count, but after 3 I kind of gave up. And they're each of, like, escalating quality. But the ending of this track, the ending guitar solo, and I mean the whole band, I'm just focused on Bill right now for the guitar, but the whole band just goes into this furious fray at the end, where the walls that they've built up in this album thus come crashing down. And I think that this, I would imagine that this kind of technically ends the first side of the album. I don't have specifics on that. I have Discogs up, but it's not telling me like which song ends the side or whatever. I would guess that this does. 1, because the way it sounds. 2, we're pretty much halfway through. Okay. I love the use of piano keyboards. It sounds like there's a harpsichord, or at least a harpsichord-like sound being played as well in here. Just blissful. Just glistening with elegance underneath everything. The stop-start power of everything in here obviously sounds like wonderfully imaginative. It's very progressive. Of course, the runtime is kind of double what all the other tracks have been, so of course there's more room for everything, and make room they do for everything in this particular track. Ooh. I was going to talk about like the solos from before and like I said, the keyboards and such, but it's the ending. It's the ending that makes this one. And like I said during it, when I heard it start dropping out and there was still like 45 seconds or so, I said, I don't mind. I love when a band grows into this distress, chaos, and climax at the end, and then they just keep that energy rolling. Don't cut it off. Don't stop it. Don't pull the plug. Let it roll. Let it go. And then don't pull the plug, but let's go ahead and fade out. Let's take that slider and just move it down. I love that. I think that kind of fade out is great, and it leaves you wanting more. It leaves that feeling from listening to the music. It lets it kind of sit with you a little bit. You know, like if you just stop it, it's just gone. Here, I think that like it leaves you slowly. And I think it kind of allows you to kind of digest it a little differently. Anyways, so here's the thing. About 3/4 of the way through, I realized that one, I didn't have the lyrics up, so I was going to go pull them up here really quick. And I usually use Genius for my lyrics. For some reason, this track is missing. So really quickly, I had to pull up the lyrics from a different site here. Tin aeroplanes trace the time past our fading window's eyes. And the pains are pains, like the pains of a window pane, but the pains like feeling, inside, through which we see all the glories fast unfold, all the joys lo and behold. It's a bittersweet dark secret that we keep. So what is the secret? The song name is Soundtrack. Like the soundtrack to our lives holds many, many different songs, you could say. Bold children of the air swoop and fighting feathers fly, leave the hue and cry behind and far below. In the room behind the door, like a ghost who walks the floor, eyes go searching for a trace of wing or beak, and feel so weak for a while from your passionate smile. Hear the wind beneath the trees, it's the soundtrack of my dreams, and the song it sings is of the earth and sky. All the sleepers who awake know too well the poison taste is a sweet disease that carries me away. I gotta tell you, I don't quite know about this one. I don't quite know what this one's about. Soundtrack. I mean, I know that like the words sound and track are separated, so maybe it's literally talking about like a track, like when you're recording music, like a sound track. Not like a soundtrack for something, but you know what I mean? So maybe he's comparing like the airplane, flying. He uses a lot of like bird kind of words, fighting feathers, fly, wing or beak, feel so weak for your passionate smile. Maybe it's talking about inspiration for music. I gotta tell you, on this one, I have no clue. I have no clue. So let me stop before I go any further, because I really have no idea what this one is talking about at all. Let's move on into the next track here. Let me pull myself back up here, pull myself back together, which it seems is going to be Music in Dreamland. I'm imagining, all right, the song name is called Music in Dreamland, which leads me to think like, okay, it's going to be soft and just floaty and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's probably going to be like the heaviest track on here. Let's see.
Standing by the old car, sunset in your gray eyes, listening to the bluebirds.
Are you guys having a good time at this point? Because, I mean, I can't tell because, you know, I'm recording this and it's not like a live show. But I'm having such a great time listening to this. This is like opening up a toy box and just like playing with your toys. This is like a box of chocolates. That's the better way to describe this, actually. So definitely wasn't expecting the brass section to come in. Definitely wasn't expecting some horns. I heard that and I was like, that's Bill playing through something. It's like, it sounds too real. So on this particular track, you're going to have the Grimthorpe Colliery Band. which was a brass band based rather in Granthorpe, South Yorkshire in England, formed in 1917. And they've played with a ton of different places, ton of different people and such like that, just to get a little bit of history on them there. The solo that the solo that Bill played at the end, I was about to say another name and I was like, why am I going to say that name? It kept the fun factor in this track, which we're going to talk about. But I like that if you listen to the notes and kind of the way he played, is it just me? Or was there a little bit of like this near mystical quality in the way he was playing there at the end? I don't know. It's just the notes and maybe some of the ambiance that he was kind of creating in his guitar playing. I don't know. There's something different about it. So this track, Music in Dreamland, like I said, I was expecting something kind of fantastical, kind of dreamy. And I wouldn't say it's dreamy in the way that I was thinking. My preconceptions were a little bit off on this one. Because even when the brass band came in, it's not like the music played in a carnival circus kind of way. So that's not what I'm thinking. However, at the same time, I am still thinking and getting the feeling of like an amusement park. I'm getting a picture of like a beautiful, beautifully lit Ferris wheel. There's a big festival going on. Like I said, not necessarily a carnival or anything, but there's a festival, a celebration of some sorts, and everyone's just having a great time. The lights are going off and the music is playing. That's what I'm hearing here. It's a dreamland of fantasy. Can I tell you, honestly, the first thing I thought of listening to it, when I kind of got myself straight with it, it made me think of Spirited Away. It made me think of like Miyazaki and like the feeling of Spirited Away, where like it's this kind of half fantasy, half reality. There's this weird kind of balance and like contrast between the two. There's beautiful harmony, I should say. Contrast, not harmony between the two, like the spirit world and like reality. And I don't know, that's what I was feeling from the music. And I just love the way that was brought in here, because like I said, that but the brass band did give me that kind of feeling, but it wasn't so on the nose, like, you know, like, hey, we're a circus band. No, it was just like something fantasy. Something deeper than that. And then Fox playing up with that brass band, like adding a little bit more of like a slightly orchestral feel, not literally, but like he adds a certain power into those moments, especially when you have those big crashes and the brass band is allowed to fill in those moments as well. Just a really good track, and obviously at this point a really good album on this one. Standing by the old car, sunset in your gray eyes, listening to the bluebirds, praying for a sunrise. Maybe we'll make music in dreamland tonight. Someone in the garden walking through the moonlight, sailing in the silence, hoping for an insight. I know we'll make music in dreamland tonight. Maybe we'll go waltzing in dreamland tonight. So even lyrically, you're having this kind of, maybe we'll escape this reality. Maybe we'll escape where we are at this particular moment and get into this dreamland where our dreams come true and we can make music. Now, whether he's talking literally about the band making music, or he's talking more romantically about, hey, you and me, we all make music tonight. Listen, it could be one of those, but I like that idea of like traveling, transitioning from something more grounded into something more fantastical, and perhaps divine, if you will. I have some pictures. I keep them I paint them in my sleep. They make me laugh. Sometimes they make me weep. You are in my pictures too. Portraits of the moon in silver and blue. So I like how he attributes the moon in silver and blue, of course, with all this majesty, to this person and to whoever his muse may be. Ringing in the changes, chiming like a church bell, laughing in the mirror, phantoms of the hotel. Oh, well, we'll make music in dreamland tonight. Driving like a madman, trying to make a fast time. Theater full of strangers, waiting for a new rhyme. No crime to make music in dreamland tonight. It's time to make music in dreamland tonight. You're mine, and my music's in dreamland tonight. Honestly, reading the ending there, you really could, I guess, say both ways. You could go the more romantic route, which is what I'm leaning towards, or you could go to, hey, this is the band making music. They come together with their inspiration, their creative independency, bring it all together, stir that pot, and what do you get? This album. Let's go ahead. I almost choked right now. Let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Jean Cocteau. Let's go. Or Cocteau, sorry.
Sometimes a film, sometimes a photograph.
The last thing I expected, at this point especially in the album, was for us to get this Latin-inspired bossa nova groove from Be-Bop Deluxe. Oh, and do they pull it off with mass appeal. God! The guitar playing, it's amazing. Can we talk about Charlie's bass? Did he pick up a double bass on here? I know on here he's credited playing Fender bass, and it very well could be. But it sounds like a stand-up bass in there. Oh, man. And the band pulls this off magnificently. Even Simon, he doesn't really, like go off on like a drum set or anything like that. But he's playing like a little percussion there. I think that instrument is like, it starts with a G. Because you guys mention it every time I talk about this. But that, I think it starts with a G. I just can't remember what it is. The little hand percussion here, like, just a vibe. And can I tell you, we are, at this point, the album is 9 songs. We're on song 7 out of 9. This is refreshing, right? And obviously not to take away from anything we've heard before, but this is such a refreshing moment in the album. And it's just a little bit of a refresher. It's only 2 minutes long. Almost 3 minutes, but it just like that is like a breath of fresh air. That is a familiar smell when you walk into your home and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to get back in here. That is wonderful the way they play it. I love how they took that style and of course kind of went into their own direction. Bill's guitar playing, like I said, duh. What do you want me to say about it at this point? Just absolutely magnificent. You could dance your pants off to that one. Sometimes a film, sometimes a photograph, sometimes a rose, sometimes a looking glass. Enchanter of souls, your dreams still unfold. Sometimes a child, sometimes a tragedy, sometimes a truth, sometimes a fantasy. Enchanter of souls, your dreams still unfold. Sign your name with a star. It's all a game, only a pantomime. A deadly parade, sadly to end divine. Enchanter of souls, your dreams still unfold. Sign your name with a star. Honestly, I was just thinking like, this sounds like a riddle, like is the answer life or something? Now I've heard the name Jean Cocteau. Let me see who that is exactly so we can at least get the inspiration for this one. Jean Cocteau was a French poet, playwright, novelist, designer, filmmaker, visual artist, and critic. He was one of the foremost creatives of the surrealist, avant-garde, and Dadaist movements, and one of the most influential figures in the early 20th century art as a whole. Like I said, I've definitely heard his name. I gotta tell you, I don't know a thing truly about him. So looking at all the work, because he has a Wikipedia page and he has so many different works under himself, novels, stage plays, films, I mean the list goes on. That goes hand in hand with the lyrics where, sometimes a film, sometimes a photograph, sometimes this, so all these different stories that he tells, all these different forms of art that he is involved in, they're kind of giving tribute, you would say, to Jean there. So, lovely track. Very, very lovely track. Let's move ourselves on into the next one here, which is Between Two Worlds. Let's go. And right out of the gate.
Between the worlds are pearls around your little white neck.
There's that kind of
All the girls declare it so.
After the beautiful nocturnal dance, the quiet soiree of Jean Cocteau, they didn't leave us any room. They didn't leave us any space. No, don't catch your breath. You caught your breath? Ba-da-da! Right? Between Two Worlds is just bang, 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 bang. Like, it just doesn't stop. It doesn't give you any time to rest. It just goes. Ooh, the energy is immediately recaptured from the band. It's like they took a quick break with that quiet, nice bossa nova, and then they went right back into it, right back into what they're doing. 2 words stand out to me on this particular track. Can you guess what they are? Let me help you out. Simon Fox. This whole track, I feel like is Simon's. Let me make a, I'm making a bold first statement off of what I just listened to. I feel like this track showcases Simon Fox completely, thoroughly. This track, seeing it live, Oh, my eyes would just be on Fox. If I was in the audience, my eyes would be on him and just watching him do his thing. He plays with such veracity, with such power, with such a abandon. Obviously, still keeping it all together, because this track really does, kind of like the previous track with soundtrack, it kind of leans into, like, to me at least, like a more progressive kind of sounding track. Oh, you hear the return of what I think is a harpsichord or harpsichord-like sounding instrument in there. Obviously, everyone else is doing great, Bill and Charlie, but I'm concentrated on Fox in this one. Just incredible. That's a mammoth walking through a I don't know, an auction house. I don't know why that's the first place I thought of. Oh, jeez. Between the worlds. Between the worlds are pearls around your lily white neck, so round, profound, all shining beads of sweat. I know my way around your throat like a knife. I'll silver and steal you away to my island of sea jade. Crazy. I can't tell if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Life is a love affair, all the girls declare it so. They know I'm a gigolo. Between the worlds I go, I go. So he says life is he says life is a love affair, and then he says that the girls know he's a gigolo between worlds. So he goes between different lives, I guess you could say, more so than anything. Between the girls are worlds that only lovers see. So proud the shroud has fallen to my knees. I know the sway of your charms like a snake. I'll give you my head in a casket of silver and sea jade. Crazy. Like he's offering himself up to either literally girls or like to his muse. He's happy to offer himself up in some way. He says he'll deliver his own head in a casket of silver and sea jade, like in a box. I got no idea, dude. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just here to listen to the music. I'm here looking for music that I can listen to on my own and just hang out with. And I don't always know what it means, but I know I had a good time with it. With that, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and move into the final track of the album. That's going to be the appropriately named Swan Song. Let's go ahead and give it a listen. We'll talk about it after. Let's go. There you go. Start off with the gong. Coming out here.
And our heads in a spin. We press close to the moment. We were Siamese.
The keys, the six.
Nearly insane when the game is all done. We can't lose at all.
Oh, we're getting a cutoff? It's kind of... I like that. That was kind of scary. The way that it did that. All right, I love the cutoff there. This is how you wrap up an album. You get kind of all the elements that you've heard before throughout this album, just in a nice conclusive way. Something that stood out to me, I really liked that backwoods guitar that was used a couple of times in there. That... like, that sounded really cool. And then the back and forth between that backwoods guitar and that big dramatic wave that you would have just crashing down like a tidal wave in here. This track appropriately like that balances the more dramatic with the more subtle here. I think that's something that's underrated, and even I haven't commented on it a lot, is Bill singing. I think he sings really nicely. He has a unique voice in a certain sense, because he's not like... No, let me not speak out of turn. It doesn't sound like he's a what's the word? He sounds like he's a guitarist first, singer second. And I don't mean that as disrespectful. I just mean like he doesn't sound like a singer. You know what I mean? Read between the lines. You know what I mean. He doesn't sound like a singer, but he sings nice. Does that make sense? But I think that his singing, his delivery in many moments kind of stands and sets himself apart a little bit, especially in lieu of his obviously phenomenal guitar playing. Once again, Simon Fox is just magnificent in here. And then the incorporation of these big synths to really add, like I said, this dramatic flair into the almost historical breaking like guitar moments. It just adds this really big, suspenseful, tension-breaking moments throughout the track that, of course, eventually wraps itself up in the end there. Which, speaking of wrapping itself up, this doesn't end in a fade-out, doesn't end in the ending to the song, I would even argue. It just flat lines at the very end there, which I think is a really cool choice, to be honest. This was a very, very good album to listen to. Let's talk about these lyrics, though, before we finish it out. With our bodies on fire and our heads in a spin, we press close to the moment. We were Siamese twins in ecstasy. So, of course, she's talking about how close they were. So we lay soul to soul as the archer of the night united our hearts for our mutual delight. While the company derided me. Tie me up in your hair, I'm so easily led. Sink me deep in your oceans, lock me up in your bedroom and lose the key. Oh, you won't lose that key. Let me show you a sign pure as the virgin snow. Sail a while with me through my dreams, hear the many enchanted themes. I will play for you in several keys of blue, sing for you my swan song. I think that that's really nice. That line, I will play for you in several keys of blue. Like instead of like a key in of this or this, you know, like an actual scale. He's saying, like, I'll play for you in a certain color. And I think that adds a certain vibrancy into what he's saying. And I think that this song is really just kind of a love song, you know? He's giving this person his all. Some would say the ending, his swan song. He's giving this person his best. This could also be taken as the band giving their best to us, the audience, and the listener. Let me give you the time to be your waterfall. We can bathe in the wine and the honey sublime till the last curtain call, till the last curtain calls. Take me up for a ride, far from the stony ground. Glide the skies with me in my dreams. Here are the secrets of the themes. I will play for you in several shades of blue. Sing for you my swan song, swan song. So you even have words here that kind of allude to previous tracks. You know, glide in the skies with me in my dreams. Hear the secrets of the themes. Themes like with Dreamland. Flying like with Seagull. Like I hear a lot of repeated themes in here. Flying away to some place, to a private place that only they can see, something like that. So throughout this album, I'm more getting a romantic vibe from it rather than autobiographical from the band themselves. Woo! Sometimes after doing a video, especially an album, I'm tired of talking. Like, my voice begins not to wear thin necessarily, but like, I love to talk. But after a while, my mouth and my throat just get tired. They're just worn out. So yeah, that's the album. I was looking on Wikipedia to see like if there's any interesting notes about it here. It says, although critics were not always open to the mix of styles, Be-Bop and Nelson's music received a fairly warm welcome from the music critic of the New York Times. John Rockwell stated his article with a fairly scathing dismissal. He says, every month or is it week seems to bring a new rock band from Britain eager to catch a few leftover crumbs from the Anglophilia of the 1960s. Most fail completely, others latch on to FM cult success. A very few unpredictably make it big. And then I guess he goes on to say, Be-Bop Deluxe is redeemed by the brilliance of the band's playing, and particularly Nelson's guitar playing. His records put Nelson right up there with other great masters of the electric guitar. Okay. Because Rockwell's beginning statements, that did not sound right. That didn't sound good at all. Like that was beyond harsh. But then he kind of wrapped it up and okay, he kind of saved himself a little bit there at the end, but not too much, but a little bit. I do see interestingly on here, All Music rated this album 2 stars out of 5. Q Magazine rated this album 3 stars out of 5? Okay, maybe they didn't hear it. Maybe their copy was broken or something. I don't know, but okay. You do you. Anyways, that's going to end the album. I hope that you guys enjoyed being here with me. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, for spending the time with me. Like I said, I'm here. I don't know how long it's been, probably an hour or so, but I appreciate you guys spending the time with me. I appreciate you watching. Press the like button before you go, like just press it. But really, thank you for chilling with me. Let me know what you were doing. I didn't ask a question in the middle of the video like I usually do. I forgot to be honest, but wherever you are, like I said, whether you're in a seat, whether you're laying in bed, whether you're on the train, you're on your way to work, wherever you are, let me know. I hope that you guys enjoyed listening to it with me. Please, please, please don't forget to listen to Simple Minded Symphony. Once again, the information will be in the comments and the description below for you guys to check them out. And I think that you'll enjoy them. Like I said, listen to them and watch the video. See if you don't smile a little bit from it, from their energy. And tell me if you don't like that bass solo. Come on, it's a good bass solo. Anyways, that is the video. Press that like button before, like I said, press the subscribe button. Helps me out a great deal. Check out the band, Simple Minded Symphony. If you wish, you can join me over on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. Helps me in what I do. You don't have to. Just appreciate you being here. Have a great rest of your day, your afternoon, your evening. I'm going to go eat something because I'm actually starving. I haven't eaten since like 7 o'clock and it's 1:40 right now. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.